Hey everyone, welcome back to the 12th episode of Jock of all trades. It's a new school year. We're back in person finally after a year and a half spent in quarantine. So we got a new season for you guys. It's a little bit of a new cast this year with me and Muthu, but we do have Desiree with us this year. Desiree, you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Desiree. I'm a sophomore this year, and I'm also the assistant sports editor of Aquila. I'm trying to wave, but it's not showing up on the background, so yeah. Hi everyone.
Yeah, we got the backgrounds going in this year. So I got Trey Lance, Muthu as Mac Jones, and then Desiree, is that like Brandon Crawford? I don't know, but that should like kind of tell you about the teams we're supporting.
This is Buster Posey.
Okay.
And so for today's episode, we are not starting with the NFL, which is a surprise. We're actually going with baseball. And so baseball, the MLB postseason is going on right now. And right now, actually, like literally right now, the Los Angeles Dodgers and the San Francisco Giants are meeting in the postseason for the first time. And they've played 2,535 regular season games without meeting in the postseason. So it's a really heated matchup, and it seems to be like this is the makeshift World Series. Desiree, you want to take it away?
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, the Dodgers and the Giants have a really long-lasting rival, which is kind of an understatement because, to put it simply, the two teams just really hate each other. And so since this is the first time that both of them are competing against each other in the playoffs, the stakes are very high, and people are treating this series like the actual World Series itself. So it's a very high-stakes series, and this is Game 4 of the series that's being played currently as we're recording this. The Giants are leading the series 2-1, but the Dodgers are currently winning the game, so we aren't really sure how it's going to go yet.
Yeah, I guess if you guys have listened to some of our past episodes, you know that me and Muthu are kind of really into the NFL, MLB, but I think like if there was a time to get into baseball, it's now, just because the Giants are doing so well. So yeah, maybe after this recording, I'll go check out the game and try to get into that. I guess kind of just in regards to the series in general, one thing I've really noticed like around school and just kind of going around the house, like in public, is that you can really feel like the Giants culture starting to show. Like people are wearing like giant sweatshirts, shirts, lots of orange everywhere. And it's kind of reminiscent of 2 years ago when the 49ers were in the Super Bowl. Like you started to really feel like the fan culture kind of showing and coming out. And I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's kind of one similar.
You don't feel that for the 49ers anymore, but you know, it's okay.
That's a topic for a little bit later, but yeah.
Yes. But yeah, I mean, the Giants have been doing really well this season. I believe they set a franchise record in wins. They had 107, and the Dodgers actually had 106. So, Desiree, you've been following the Giants. What do you think kind of contributed to their success in the regular season, and how do you think that's going to help them, help propel them through the playoffs?
Yeah, so actually, I didn't really follow the Giants that much last year because in 2020, there weren't many games and the pandemic was still going on. So last year, I think the season was only around 60 games. I might be wrong, but I think it was 63 games. And the Dodgers won the World Series last year, 2020. So they have a title to defend. Meanwhile, the Giants, they've kind of been bringing in a lot of new players and a lot of new faces, pitchers especially. And I think a lot of these new players are getting more experience, and they're kind of contributing to creating a stronger atmosphere in the team, and that's probably contributing to their wins. And also the rivalry between the Giants and the Dodgers definitely also contributes to the Giants' competitiveness throughout the season.
Yeah, I guess another thing, like I'm making some comparisons to the 49ers here again, but this is just kind of sports in general. Like one thing Desiree pointed out before we started this recording, but for all sports teams, there seems to be this kind of trajectory where teams have really high points where they're competing for the championship, and then kind of as the years go by, they become mediocre again. They transition to like rebuilding phases, they acquire new players through the draft and free agency and things like that, and then they rise to kind of those high points again. And so that's a trajectory we've seen with the 49ers, we've seen with the Giants. I think maybe like 6 or 7 years ago, the Giants were winning World Series, like 2 or 3 of them. I may be wrong, but I think so. And then they had a period of mediocrity, and then now they're back. they set the franchise win record total, and they're competing for a World Series, or hoping to at least. And yeah, I think that's a trajectory we see with many sports teams. So I was wondering, what are you guys' thoughts on that, and if you've seen that?
Yeah, I mean, I think also the Patriots might be going through one of those, you know. They had a 20-year dynasty dominating the NFL, and then a certain someone left very tragically. And then they sucked for one season, and then they came back this season. They spent the most money in the postseason as any team or something like that. They spent a lot of money. They got a bunch of really good players, and they still kind of suck. So obviously that is still a work in progress. And you know, it's kind of the thing where you as fans, it is tough to see your team not perform well, but you know, you kind of just have to like stick through it. I know I'm not really used to seeing my team lose a lot of games, but when your team is doing bad, as Vishnu knows, that's really what tests your fandom, and that's really where you have to show how deep your loyalty runs. And remember, kids, don't be bandwagons. Bandwagons are bad. Yeah. So pick a team, stick to them, and yeah.
Yeah, I think my loyalty definitely runs very, very deep. I think like the last 6 or 7 years where I've been like a really big Niners fan, like 6 of those years they've sucked, and this year it looks like it's gonna be that way as well. There was that one-off year, which I mentioned earlier, where they went to the Super Bowl, which is a very high point. But obviously last season, lots of injuries kind of derailed that season, and this season isn't off to such a hot start. We're 2-3 right now, and yeah, we've got a tough schedule coming up, so we'll see where that goes. But I think that being said, the guy behind me can't see my finger because of the virtual background. But like he's one reason to be excited as a 49ers fan. Like Nuku has Mac Jones behind him. I've got Trey Lance. Both of our teams, we picked new exciting quarterbacks in the draft. I'd say one more exciting than the other, but it's definitely something to look forward to see how these quarterbacks develop over the years. And I was just wondering, what have you guys thought of how they played so far? Yeah, are you guys excited and that sort of thing?
So last weekend, the Niners lost to the Cardinals, unfortunately, and we were able to see Trey Lance start for the first time because Jimmy Garoppolo, the starting quarterback, was injured. And I think I didn't watch the game fully, but my dad did watch the game, and he said that Trey Lance is good. He has potential, but his throws could be a lot more accurate, and I think that has a lot to do with experience. So yeah, I remember when Jimmy Garoppolo came, we were all kind of wondering, like, oh, what does he have to bring to the table? And we weren't aware that he was in the franchise for a long time already. And so I guess we kind of have a similar feeling with Trey Lance, except what's different is that he is actually a rookie, and he's starting from a clean slate. So it'll be exciting to see what he has to offer.
Yeah, and I think a big story for this season was the 5 first-round picks that were rookie QBs. So you had Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance,
Justin Fields and Mac Jones.
Justin Fields and Mac Jones, yes. But to be honest, they've been kind of underwhelming. Zach Wilson is the QB of the New York Jets, who are 1-4, and that man does not know who's on his team. He throws so many interceptions, you can't even count them. Trevor Lawrence, also pretty much the same story. Yeah, the Jaguars are just a bad franchise in general. Justin Fields seems to be picking up. He had a pretty terrible start in his first start, got sacked like 9 times. I just feel bad for him, but he is starting to pick up. Trey Lance, obviously, he's been okay. It was his first start, so obviously there's room to grow. And then Mac Jones, I think Vishnu said that one QB out of Lance, and Jones was more interesting than the other, and I'll agree with that. Mac Jones is the definition of a pocket passer, very Tom Brady-esque, not exactly the most mobile QB and most fun QB to watch, but he does have like the best completion percentage, and I think as long as he stays consistent and doesn't throw to the other team like the other rookie QBs do, I think he can put together at least a decent season.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with you on that. Like, I'll give Mac Jones his props. If you look at the rookie QBs, like statistics, I know stats aren't everything, but they are like a relatively good measure of performance. Most of the QBs, or all four of them that you mentioned, other than Mac Jones, their completion percentages are in the 50s, whereas Mac Jones is like 71 or 72. And so I guess just coming out of college, he was touted as like the more polished pocket passer, very accurate. Maybe he doesn't throw deep as much, but he is accurate and good at like short and medium stuff. So that's definitely been good for the Patriots. And kind of a consistent quarterback that, while he won't make too many wild plays, can be relied upon to just perform, which I think is a good thing. I guess in relation to Trey Lance and his performance against the Cardinals, and then also just this season, we didn't see too much of him early on. It seems like Kyle Shanahan was kind of like, I want to stick it out with Jimmy Garoppolo. And so that's what happened early on. Trey Lance got a couple snaps here and there, but he didn't really see too much action. But because of Jimmy Garoppolo's injury, which Desiree mentioned, Trey Lance did start this week. And I guess a couple things that I noticed. One thing, he's very good at moving around in the pocket. Like when pass rushers are coming at him, he's very elusive and he's able to kind of like juke and dodge and like run around the pocket, which I think is very exciting as a fan to watch. But Desiree also mentioned his like inaccuracies. One thing of him is he throws the ball like super, super hard, like it's like rockets coming out of his hand. And that does lead to like a lack of control, like balls go high or they kind of go too far forward or back. And you do see those inaccuracies, but his first start was definitely promising. You see a lot of things that you can build off of, and also just an exciting player to watch in the way he can move and run around and throw deep balls. So yeah, definitely excited for where Trey Lance goes the rest of the season. I know he sprained his knee and it might be out 1 to 2 weeks, but yeah, still excited to see the season.
Yeah, and the 49ers have a bye week this week, so it could go either way with Garoppolo or Lance in 2 weeks.
Oh yes, and maybe Kittle can stop being injured and messing up my fantasy team. But that's besides the point.
Kittle will definitely be out though, because he's on IR, so he's to be out 3 weeks. So it's this game, the bye week, and then the Colts game. But maybe he'll be back for you in week 8.
Yeah,
or week 7, whatever. Yeah. Unfortunately, the 49ers have been like hit with another string of injuries, but we won't get into that. It's okay.
The rookie QBs are definitely promising, and I mean, so far this season, the games have been pretty spectacular. We got a lot of close games, a lot of overtimes, and missed extra points. That was weird this weekend. That was like 13 or something. I don't know. But speaking of great games to watch, Harker Day was full of them, and we'll go into a quick recap for you guys, and maybe add a little bit of analysis if we can.
Yeah, so I guess starting in reverse order, we had the football game. They faced off, the Harker football team faced off against Marina High School for the annual homecoming game. Quick shameless plug, we did do live coverage at harkercola.com, so check that out if you want to see some cool photos and live interviews and that sort of thing. But yeah, so the football team, they played Marina High School. It was an exciting game. They ultimately lost 26-42, but there were a lot of fun highlight plays, a lot of great moments in that game. At halftime, we had like Harker Dance Company and cheer team. Yeah, so just a very fun event overall, and I think a lot of people showed up. And yeah, just a really good game.
Quick shout out to junior Zeke Wang, who absolutely destroyed a dude's ankles on the way to a touchdown. Great play, and yeah.
Nice throw too by Rohan.
Yes, sir. All right. And then also we had 3 water polo games, JV boys, varsity boys, and varsity girls, and we swept the competition with JV boys and varsity boys defeating Palo Alto. Varsity boys ended up winning 17-15. They went to overtime, and it was a spectacular sight to see. And girls varsity defeated Menlo 10-9.
Yeah, so then after the water polo games, girls varsity volleyball and junior varsity volleyball both played against Castellea, and so the JV team won against Castellea in 2 sets, but unfortunately the varsity team lost to Castellea. So this week they will be playing Sacred Heart on Tuesday and Notre Dame Delmont on Thursday. And
yeah, so that kind of wraps it up for our recap of Harker Day, which was last Saturday. We had lots of great athletic events. We had the football team playing, water polo like Mika mentioned, and then volleyball as well, like Desiree talked about. Yeah, so we got a load of professional sports in there, the Giants and the 49ers. We also had some Harker sports. We hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you guys have any feedback, you can leave it in the comment section below. And yeah, we hope you enjoyed. That's all we got. Thank you.
See you.